Good morning. Welcome to the last module of Social Work 7065. I'm in Tech Town, and I just came from another meeting of Community Development Advocates of Detroit. Today at the meeting we talked about how the city is looking at ways of repurposing vacant lots and changing zoning as needed to do that. Another thing the city talked about was how they are working diligently to increase the participation in the U.S. Census next year, and they're asking for partners, including Wayne State, to do that. That's important because federal funding for schools, including Head Start, Medicaid funding, and other federal funding is dependent on the census count. This fits nicely with our theme of sustainable community development, where we wrap everything together. Sustainability is often thought as balancing three domains: the economy, the social environment, and the natural environment. Some scholars also include as a separate domain culture. So we will be talking about how the world, as facilitated by the United Nations, has come to consensus on the Sustainable Development Goals for the next decade, and how those are working to care for the natural environment and also achieve poverty reduction. And so one question all professionals in this space ask is, how can we have economic growth and also reduce poverty and inequality? No easy answers there. So we are wrapping up. Today you will turn in a draft of the group project. A few groups have contacted me with questions. You can certainly keep those coming. I had to change some of the instructions on the draft discussion board. They are not the peer reviews are not automatic. That didn't work last time, if you remember. So all you have to do is just comment on four groups' presentations. Please use the rubric as a guide, but don't feel you have to fill out an entire rubric. Just go for some basic suggestions to improve. And of course, one of the reasons I want you to read those is because the groups are doing interesting work, and I want you to be able to see what your peers are doing. Now, the final draft of the group project is the 22nd. That's also will be the due date for the last quiz, which will be very easy. One of the quiz questions will ask you to complete the student evaluation of teaching. That is done in every course. I've found that for online, when I do the sets online, I get a lower response rate. So in the quiz, I'm asking you to do that. You should have already received the link. If you haven't, make sure you're checking your Wayne State email and check your clutter and spam folder. Only I see the comments you write, so if you write comments, that's a memo to me and only me. The scores for the first three questions are aggregated and shared with the dean and associate dean and our various review committees. And then the more detailed questions only I see. But I do read those every semester and make changes to improve the course based on the sets. Finally, on the 24th, you'll have a chance to turn in a short reflection on the group project and say how it went for you, but also make recommendations on if you feel there are people in the group who put forth extra effort that you think should get a higher grade than other members of the group. And that is in there, for accountability and peer support. If you are finding there are still issues with your group, please contact me immediately and we'll try to resolve them. And people have been contacting me about extensions for various things. Uh, Obviously, we're towards the end of the semester, and I've already pushed back the assignments to the last possible date, more or less. But turning in an assignment a few days late, the late penalty is not very high. It's only 1% per year, so that's nothing that would necessarily impact your grade too much. Finally, I would like to thank you for a very interesting learning experience. I think this group had a very good way of communicating via writing and some of the multimedia choices in the projects and presentations. And I look forward to seeing some of you next year in other classes. Have a good summer.